experts on this whole issue, so I'm delighted to have him as a partner in this effort. As you know, we recognize people in order of appearance here, so it'll be Senator Warren, then back to Senator Alexander, Senator Murphy, Senator Isaacson, Senator Baldwin, Senator Burr, Senator Franken, and Senator Casey in that order. So we recognize Senator Warren.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I want to offer my thanks to the panel very much, Ms. Hounsell, for the work you're doing in education, for all of you, the commitment that the companies have made to trying to educate clients, and the work you've done in research. It seems to me, I read your testimony, I agree with Senator Enzi, it's full of good ideas, good thoughts, and primarily based around how we might do better with employer-sponsored plans, and it's pulling people in. I went through all of them, the notion of changing opt-out, increasing the default amount, the pre-commitments to growth, and your very creative plan, Dr. Madrian, of changing how the employer calculates the incentive to get people to stay in. But I also notice in your testimony that you all, to one extent or another, talk about incentivizing the employers or encouraging the employers. I notice the different verbs we use, and that I'm mindful of Senator Alexander's point that on the one hand, we could require the employers to participate. Senator Alexander says, but this creates complications for small businesses. So the question I really have is, can you fill in that part of what you're talking about in your testimony? We don't have employees who will participate in these plans if we don't have employers who are offering these plans. So how do we get more employers to offer these plans? What are the options available to us, and how effective will they be? Ms. McCarthy, would you like to start?
Yes, thank you. I think it comes down to the discussion we had around simplification, because for smaller employers, one of the biggest inhibitors is the cost of administration and the fiduciary responsibility and complexity that goes along with administering the plans. So if we can streamline some of the requirements and accountability of them, I think we would naturally have better adoption. And then when you get into the actual experience, there are ways to offer very simple plans that reduce the administrative costs as well.
Dr. Madrian?
Yeah, let me completely agree with that. I think there needs to be a very simple option for employers that needs to have, no regulatory requirements that they need to, very minimal regulatory requirements, limited fiduciary responsibility, something simple and straightforward. And then to the extent you can piggyback that with something else that employers are already doing so it doesn't add an administrative burden, that would also help. So for example, if small employers are filing the tax payments on behalf of their employees quarterly, couple the contributions to the savings plan with what they're already doing to pay their quarterly taxes, instead of instituting a new regulatory requirement that they need to do these contributions in some other way, shape, or form at some other point in time. Anything to minimize the administrative burden and the regulatory burden will be extremely helpful. You could also think about providing a modest tax incentive to companies if they offer a savings plan. So if you offer the savings plan, we'll give you a break on your employer taxes.
Mm-hmm. Very valuable. Mr. Mosslander?
I would agree with everything Julia and Bridget said. The art of regulation, if you would, I think is important. There are, out of the Pension Protection Act, there are additional auditing and reporting requirements, which are probably very good things. But we also had, fee disclosure, which at the plan sponsor level was valuable. At the participant level was the opposite of that. And we all spent a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy to mail out and send out fee disclosure information to participants who, in the first place, they're minimally engaged in the plan. They're not going to be interested in the expense ratio of every fund that's offered under that plan. So that was the kind of regulation well intended, but in the end really didn't have the impact that it had is designed to have. So I think kind of trying to manage necessary regulation with, that's not, regulation that's not really going to have a big impact is just echoing what Bridget and Julie said is an important part.
Ms. Hounsel, is this going to get us there by making the plan simpler?
I think so. Difference for
Good.
people. So.
All right. Very valuable. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I'd like to continue Professor Warren's, Senator Warren's line.